This is the Infinite Podcast with me, Øystein Rabbe.
And me, Ulf Tødde Flittig. Together we go boldly into the unknown, discovering greater truths about ourselves and sharing it with you, our beloved listener. On this episode, Baby Steps to Success, we have with us our good friend Fred Ligaard and Heidi Holm Kristoffersen. And we have a wonderful conversation. Well, actually, I'm not even there, just in spirit. But they have a wonderful conversation about getting to where you need to be and trusting your path. Yeah, this is a good one. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Wake Up Show. I don't have any sound in my ear. What's that? It's early morning here in Norway. I've got my coffee on a Monday. At Monday, actually. Today's episode is gonna be about success. Taking steps, baby steps. It is so in a world of that is where we kind of look into all these ideas about getting somewhere, reaching our goals, living our dreams, and everyone should have like a direction in life. Is the sound working?
Well, yes, we have.
Yeah, okay. But yeah. Now I can hear myself.
You can hear yourself now?
I always like to hear myself. Okay. It's so good. Yeah, so in all of this struggle that we have to reach somewhere, we're going to look into the beautiful stuff, which is about making small steps instead of getting lost in the big world out there. And today, Ulf is not in studio, so I have to do all the things that Ulf is really good about to do. So we have our Patreon. This is the place where you can support our work. You can be a part of the community and contribute with some cash monies so we can do more of this stuff for you. And we have some guests today as well. And Christian is here. Welcome and thank you for helping us out, Christian. Now you can hold the paper.
Hello. Okay, yes. I'm holding the paper. Like
yes.
This. Yes. Hello, my name is Christian Jensen.
Welcome.
I'm tired.
Yeah, like Christian is so amazing that even though he overslept, he's still here helping us out. Isn't that cool? So thank you for that, Christian. And we have also a guest from not here, from Copenhagen, that we're going to talk about later in the show. But now, Fred. Welcome.
Hey!
We were literally running into the studio at 1 minute before the show started, but we made it.
And we locked ourselves out too.
Yeah, and Christian had to open up for us. So yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually suppressing my tiredness.
Yeah.
I don't feel it.
I didn't ask if you wanted a coffee.
No, I shouldn't have one. Because then I suppress it even more.
Okay.
And then it'll backfire sometime
at
5 o'clock.
Did you hold your paper? Yeah. Spiritual philosopher and YouTuber. What is that?
Those are your words.
Yeah. I just made them up.
I've contributed. I mean, I went to a school.
They're inspired by your work, the words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well,
you're welcome.
It's
always been very thoughtful about my existence, and that started when I was very young. And then in school, some people called me the philosopher because of that.
You like to think.
I like to think. I mean, yeah. And now I try to let go of the thinking.
Thinking about it?
I'm thinking about that.
That's good. So when the topic of this episode came up, you came to my mind. It would be cool to talk to this successful from zero to hero guy.
Yeah.
What is the from zero to hero to zero?
Yeah. So from zero with the letters, like ZERO, to hero, to zero as in the number.
What's the difference?
Zero was a loser. I mean, the letters zero.
Yeah.
And the number zero is a nothingness.
I see.
Are you impressed?
I'm a bit impressed. So, because, so the topic of this episode, progress and making steps towards progress. Like, I've known you for a while, for some years, and a lot of our conversations has been about this, reaching goals, making dreams. So that's one aspect of it. Yeah. The other aspect of it is this spiritual dimension, which it can seem like you have to let go of all that. And the interesting part is what's left.
Yeah.
So what are you doing right now? What's going on in your life?
I'm always the question. I said to my father yesterday, I'm so bad at going back in time and telling people what I'm doing. But now the focus is to, I don't know what kind of language I can use for this, but it's a lot of meditation going within. I feel like the well-being is very good.
Yeah.
And just waiting for my business to reflect how good.
So you're waiting for it to manifest.
Yeah.
Without any work.
Yeah. Preferably.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah. So then just wait.
Yeah.
And a meditation cushion, and then see what happens.
Yeah.
I have heard that the cushions need to be in the right color for it to happen the right way.
Yes. And they need to do all the work for you too.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna get a cushion like that for Christmas.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, it's okay. So if I go a little bit back to my life, and I see, I used to run a business, and I had some people working for me. And I had all these big ideas that if I just reach a certain level of success, then there is something magical going to happen. And the thing that's going to happen is that I'm going to be free from all kind of burdens, and I'm going to have enough money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have like my like me and Christian talks about, the EMDB profile is going to be so long and so cool that I've worked on everything that matters, everything that people can validate that, oh, you're really good. You can get any job you want.
Hey.
And I've reached all of that. Then
what?
Then I don't know. Then I'm going to be in the smooth place where everything is potential and nothing happens.
Yeah, right.
Because then I won't be triggered by anything.
Yeah.
So that's my starting point a few years back, and moving towards that, it's been in the beginning phase. It was really like I was invested in the big ideas. I also went to Angela Robbins' workshops in the US, and I was taught to dream big, and that how important it is to dare to dream and go for the big visions.
Yeah.
And that was cool. Need to turn on the studio lights so no one bothers us. I think someone was
Bothering us.
It was a ghost. Thank you.
I might have turned it off now. I don't know.
Yeah. So where was I? Yeah. So all these things, and there's nothing. There was a good phase because I was actually doing a lot of stuff and I was making success.
Yeah.
But there was a new phase where I started kind of feeling a bit drained of working so hard about everything all the time. And there was something missing, you know. And it's, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's like the goals were so big that it felt always like if I wasn't doing anything, I was not going to reach it.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't happening grand scale tomorrow, it meant I didn't work hard enough.
Yeah, and you always had that guilt feeling.
Yeah, and there was a
around
guilt feeling like, oh, I'm
you.
not good enough yet, but I will be when this goal is reached. So yeah. So what's your story on, like, do you have a parallel story or like a other kind of journey on that for your life?
Yeah, I think that story goes on still in the background today, but I think it's losing weight as far as I look into it. As long as I look into it, keep an eye on it.
How do you look into it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a mix of thoughts and beliefs that because of that you're not good enough, and I think those thoughts are very, very hard to see in the background. They may not go on like a background noise, like a narrator's voice in your head all the time, but they are like, if you go outside of your own box, your conscious box right now, they might be there controlling the show. And if you go out to an outer box, maybe you will see something there and you will expose them there. And perhaps there's another box, and you keep unpacking yourself.
On the meditation cushion.
Yes, that can do everything for you as well in your life. So you don't have to clean your house or do anything uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Just wait for it to happen.
Yeah,
because so we're joking about it now, but what is your relationship to that kind of balance between working and allowing or meditating or just letting things happen?
Yeah.
And also the discovery in it. How did you discover the balance you have right now?
Right. Yeah, I keep discovering it. Yeah, so I think the balance, I hope the balance merges into, well, I hope that both components merge into each other. The meditational part and the doing part. That they meet each other in some way.
But how did you discover, like, when we first get to know each other, like probably 5-6 years ago or something, you were doing this YouTube thing, and the way we started to get to know each other was that I helped you with your YouTube channel, and you were on the kind of on this journey of success, like reaching subscribers and expanding your something, whatever it was.
The comfort zone. I felt like I was expanding my comfort zone, but also in front of a lot of people looking at me and hopefully worshipping it. So I was I was also seeking, I enjoyed the attention that came with it, for sure. And then what happened? I realized that I couldn't keep the machine going forever. The whole, what's the next crazy thing I could do? And because I did our first project Oh man, I'm gonna mention it again. But I was getting naked in public and doing various social experiments while no clothes. And
Christian has seen it as well.
oh yes,
Yeah. He
Cool.
wasn't so inspired. He was thinking about doing it himself next week, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was actually doing it before the show.
Yeah, that's where we were late. Okay, yeah.
oh he
Yeah.
was late too.
In the snow. Yeah. yeah.
Okay, now that's
Yeah,
an
it's-
even
it's,
braver thing to do.
It's really
in the snow.
nice that we actually started this live at 7:00, even though we were running
Yeah,
to get into the studio, and Christian overslept, and you were late, and but it still worked out. It's good.
and I think that's because you thought it was so important to be on time.
Yeah.
When I do things like this, I'm usually at least or around 2-3 minutes late.
Yeah.
So I'm more late than most people showing up on
But the thing
a
is
webinar.
that when you have scheduled a Facebook event or a Facebook Live, it actually starts when you schedule it, regardless if there is something there or not.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that's why it's a good thing to be there.
Yeah, because on webinar, my software, it says soon starting.
Yeah.
But here you have just an empty chair.
Yeah.
And they're going to
Yeah.
be like, oh, they're not here today.
Yeah, we should just put a poster on the share. And
Yeah,
I'll be there in a few minutes.
yeah, or
Yeah.
just a program.
So I interrupted you talking about something.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I am still hurt by that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm very
that's why I'm
sorry,
smiling a
friend.
little less.
Yeah. I'm very
But
sorry.
so I was doing the stunt, and people watched it. I felt, adrenaline rush, excitement from that people watched it. I felt accepted, and even the unaccepting attention, which there was actually not that much.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, 90% positive, but still, created a kind of an ego or a running, I kept chasing these sensations.
Yeah.
And kept doing stunts and pranks and social experiments, and then I found myself on a fence in North Brazil on a football stadium during the World Cup 2014.
Yeah.
And I had this vision of streaking the game. It was between USA and Belgium in the åttondelsfinale. Well,
Quarter something.
yeah, well, the game before the quarterfinals.
Okay. Yeah.
And I just felt the fear was too big,
Yeah.
and I hadn't. I had this ego of being the guy who would never back out, who's always gonna never had a limit.
Yeah.
I
But then
was
you would
proud
be
of that.
so
I
awesome.
felt, I was so awesome. But I have to keep it going. I had to.
But it's like the interesting part about that is like when you, and I think we do this in our lives without realizing, until we realize it though,
Yeah.
but that we kind of run on the things we get feedback on without really listening if it's something that actually resonates with us, you know?
Yeah.
Like that kind of feedback, like your ego loved it, and it was kind of fuel for your success story.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you were so invested that you kind of felt proud of not listening to yourself in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, because you had this mindset that I'm not the one that backing out. So if your body actually
identifying.
said no, then you would lose.
Yeah. So even if I was a guy who always backed out, that would be my ego.
Yeah.
So that would be running the show. Whatever you identify with becomes the ego.
Yeah. So how can we link this to baby steps, since that's the topic for this episode?
Yeah. Well, that was baby steps into the ego, and then I had to take baby steps out of it and to this place where I am totally egoless right now, and I have No flaws and no shadows in my personality.
Yeah, you look so clean.
No
Fred.
patterns.
Like, just lights.
Yeah, I feel purpose being that light in this room.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so I think we can watch. Ulf is not here, but he's also here in spirit, but also in video.
Baby steps towards baby steps to success. It's cool. It's like, the thing with babies, when they're trying to walk for the first time, they need to be willing to fail. You might even be. You have to be willing to try many times actually to get those steps a rocking. And the cool thing is that if you're just there trusting your path and your feet, then you can actually succeed. That's what we're talking about, yeah? Baby steps.
Hello. Technical problem.
All right, baby steps. That's okay. Yeah. What do you think, Fred?
Yeah, I think Ulf did a very good job landing.
Yeah.
Multiple times even.
Yeah.
I think it was 5 times in a row. And we should give him a real applause, I think.
Woo!
Yeah.
So yeah, I really think that he points out the whole thing with baby steps, that we can be so invested in the idea of getting somewhere that we only measure our progress by, are we there yet? And invested in that idea. And if we're not, we can even feel ashamed, or like we should be better. Like this wake up show is completely failed now because Christian did a mistake.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So we can just, we shouldn't do this. We can go home and feel sorry for ourselves and try again next life or something.
Yeah, or just go out of consciousness.
Yeah, and just
not
cease to exist.
Yeah.
That's the best part. Yeah. So I think that's the fascinating thing. Like when you realize that on a really deep level, that it's just a game. I can try again. I can do this. And there is no one else that can actually judge me for performing or not. It's like we still love Christian, even though he did something totally terrible and completely unacceptable. No, I'm just joking. So yeah,
I'm used to hearing it.
Yeah. Okay. No, but I think that's the beautiful part of it, is like, who cares, like. Something happened, and we learn from it, and we do something better next time.
You don't learn from it if you don't know what happened.
That's another part. Good feedback there. Yeah.
I kind of loved the way that happened, and the way Christian reacted. That is the problem.
Yeah. But all right, we have a guest with us that's not in studio. She is in Copenhagen. And since we are not, totally into the new technology yet, I have to hold the name on paper because Ulf loved it so much to have papers. So our next guest is Heidi Kristoffersen from Denmark. Are we
Like,
on?
fuck.
Hello. Can you? We can't hear you. You have to repeat because we didn't hear you, Heidi.
Just say good morning. from
Good
Copenhagen.
morning. It's so good to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So we're talking about baby steps, and I forgot to introduce your title that is on here: Peace Pilgrim and Love Warrior Spirits. I love that title.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
Uh,
So we've been talking about having you on the show, and I met you first time a few years ago in Denmark. We worked together on an event, spiritual event, and it's really great to have you here. And you talk about something really interesting that I want to know more about. What is it? What is it?
well, I have a company called the Little Step, which is a method I've been using on my own life to get. I was kind of stuck in this meditation cushion, like we talked about a little bit earlier. I got a little impatient of waiting for something to happen, and I have always wanted to write a lot. At some point, I thought, okay, I'm going to be a writer. So I started writing, and then as soon as I started, decided this is what I want to do, I had hit the block. I couldn't write for months, and this is me who's writing, journaling, and all things. Everything just got stuck. And at some point, I had to figure out a way out, and I tried everything. And
What did you try?
I found. I tried to get out of the writer's block. I tried to force myself. I tried to write just a half a page, or I tried to get the writing starting again. And I got a suggestion that just write one word. I was like, how is one word is going to help me going anywhere? But I thought, okay, I'm tried everything. And I just thought, okay, I tried writing one word. So I did. And I thought, okay, that was easy. And I thought, okay, this is interesting because one word is what made me go through this writer's block. So I started to figure out, okay, what was that? And now I have a blog. I write, I don't even think about what to write. I just do it today. What happened is that I found a way out of my mind is blocking me. And that is where my journey has taken me to, is a method that always works, for me at least, to get out of my own way. That's kind of the whole idea, and that is by taking very small steps. So you trick your brain into going even though it doesn't want to. So that's
Yeah. So how do you, like, what does that mean in a practical term, like, or a sense that you're taking as small steps as you can, or how do you, what is the approach that you use to go into that?
The general thing is that you have to take a step so tiny that your brain doesn't recognize that you're changing. That's what happened when I started writing only one word. My brain didn't even notice I was writing before I actually did. And taking all, like, what I do is I've taken that one little step and amplified it. So For instance, if I wanna go for a run and I don't like running, I just wanna exercise or anything. It's too big from going from my couch to go out for a run. My brain is like have so many excuses. It has all the good reasons not to. So the thing is to do a thing I can do without thinking too much about it. It has to be a step so tiny that I cannot help but having success. That could be putting my shoes out in front of my front door. That's it. That's my first step.
Yeah.
I don't have to put them on. I don't have to do anything. I just put them so I can see them. And then the next day I think, okay, I can see them, and that's it. That's at some point by accident I will put on the shoes when I go outside, and it takes it makes my brain like, okay, I can do that just for the fun of it. And when a few weeks ago I was in this place where I wanted to tell the world, okay, this is really, really brilliant, and I really wanted to have this this part where I want to know why it helps, why it works. And I stumbled upon a thing called scarcity, which is this lack consciousness. Well, I don't know how to. It's not a. What I feel it's a huge overlooked concept in like a virus in our world.
I mean, like you mean like the whole thing that we constantly coming from this place where we look at everything as we are not there yet, or we are not enough, or we are is that what you're talking about?
It actually there were two psychologists who started researching what scarcity does to our brains, and the result is like, what? Why don't I know this? And I can see how it affects not just me as a person, but the whole society. The thing is that we when we are in this lack consciousness, like you said, we're not enough. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough love, enough food. As long as it's something we don't have enough of, our brains goes into this. We have to fix this problem because it's an emergency, and we go into this tunnel where this is the only thing we can focus, and it takes so little to trigger this tunnel. So even the mention of word money will trigger my brain, which is interesting because when you don't have a lot of money and you go to work and someone talk about money at work, you actually have a difficult time taking care of your work. And this is not about abilities or how you grew up. It's actually just our brains hijacking us. And when I found out that, I was like, whoa, this is why baby steps actually work. Because what the baby steps do is to make you look outside the tunnel and say, okay, what is going on right here? Okay, I can take one little step out of this box and keep moving. So because what this tunnel does to you is that you don't care about the future issues. You only care about the present moment, and this makes us overlook a lot of important details in the daily life, and that is why for me it was like finding the missing ingredient in what I am doing. Is like, oh, this this is why it's so important to meet ourselves in a more compassionate way, because it's we need our mind to calm down. We need, that's why meditation works, but it doesn't work if you, as soon as you move, you get all in your head again. So,
yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
but it's like that's what's come to my mind when we talked about the whole process of putting the shoes out in front of the door. All these small steps, like, to me, when you talked about it, it just sounds like taking care of yourself, being kind to yourself, instead of making every challenge about how you should have overcome some big step that you just make unnecessarily. What's the word?
Unnecessarily.
Yeah, hard for yourself. I can't even repeat it, the word. but also when the example with the tunnel is like, one example that I like really well is that this whole thing when you're steering a car and you don't want to hit the pole, the lamp pole. When you focus on the lamp pole but try not to hit it, it's like your eyes are directly towards it, and you are reaching the point where you focusing at. And what we do so often in the scarcity mindset is that we focus on something we don't want, and the whole system helps us get to that point we don't want. We kind of get hijacked by this whole mechanism, and that's it's really interesting. And that's like, the interesting part of it is like you can even trick yourself to think you're not doing it, because you, like, okay, money as an example. If every decision you make is based on how you do not have enough money, or how you should need to figure out a way to have more money, and you create all the rules in your head is based on the money formula. You're not even connected anymore to what you actually want. You're just calculating how you're trying to get to somewhere based on an idea about money. And it's just so fucked up, really.
But I think that what I really, really want all your listeners to get out of this is that it's just our brains messing with us. And what I've come to realize by getting this insight is that it's easier for me to meet myself with compassion when I know it's just my brain is hijacking me, and it's not doing it because it want to ruin everything. It's just a natural thing. We have a problem, and because I make it an emergency problem, my brain takes over and say, okay, we have to fix it. It's like you are facing a tiger or something back in the Stone Age or whatever. We have to fix this problem. So as soon as we figure out that we are in the tunnel, we have the control back, because then you have all the power to go outside the tunnel and say, okay. But at the same time, you can also choose to be in the tunnel, like choose to be, okay, I need 15 minutes just to do this, and then the world can wait. Because this is also a natural state that we are. I feel we need to honor too, that our brain is not there to ruin our lives. Our brains are there to help us, but we are the one deciding when or not to do what we want to do. And this. I think that's the important of the work I'm doing, is to build the bridge between it's me controlling my mind and not the other way around. Yeah,
because that's. I think you need to be in a place where you can kind of separate yourself from like people talk about everything is in the brain, or everything is like you are the brain, so you cannot be responsible for yourself in a way. But it's actually important to realize that the brain is, or the mind is, just a tool in a way, like, and that you are more than just that tool. And then you can stop being so afraid of yourself in a way, and be more have more space and compassion to you just being a human being, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think one by the video with Ulf is that allowing ourselves to make mistakes is so important. But when we take small steps, it's easier to make the mistakes, because if I make a mistake in a small scale, it's not dangerous. So it doesn't make it a big problem if this little step didn't work. Then I just take a new baby step. It's okay. But so many people are afraid of making mistakes.
Yeah.
Oh, what if I take the wrong step? Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you put your shoes in front of the door or.
But what about the
beside
reputation
door?
and all the people that would judge you and say that you failed and hate you forever?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, including me. I was like, oh, I'm a failure. Like, and I think the best place to be in is to be our own friend, instead of, I don't want to be a part of the choir outside that are judging me for not reaching my goals. Because when you look at me from the outside, I know that most people like, well, he's just sitting around at home, not doing anything. Yeah, you think that at some point, maybe you're right. I don't care, because what I feel is I have this connection with who I am, what I'm supposed to do. And maybe it will take more than this lifetime to achieve it, but it doesn't matter, because I'm with myself all steps on the way. And this is where I found that these baby steps are so magical, is that I can be there. I can embrace everything I am in this journey, because every time I take a step, I'm like, okay, this works. This doesn't matter, because it's so tiny that I don't lose myself in the process.
Yeah.
And that is really, I think that's more what the society and the people in it needs, is to be more present. And still, because there's a lot of people present, but they don't do anything, like on the meditation cushion. And we need all these beautiful people to get out there and help change the world. And that is one little step at a time.
Yeah. I really like the approach. So is there because do you have like a web page or something with your, but maybe it's in Danish?
It's in Danish, yeah.
But what's the address where people can find you?
It's called delilleskridt.now.
Which is like the small step or something in English.
Yeah, small steps.
Maybe it works with Google Translate. Who knows?
Well, when I speak about it in English, I normally call it takes a little, because it's only the focus on doing what little it takes to change your life. And it doesn't matter if it's a physical thing or a mental thing or emotional thing. When you decide to change, your brain is like on high alert. But when you do it in a small scale, it's like just alert. And and when you start asking yourself questions, okay, what can I do right this minute? You take control, but you're still inside the tunnel. And I think it's important to respect that we do get in the tunnel, because the whole society is infected by this lack consciousness, and it's not. It takes more than one attempt to get out of it. So to accept that sometimes we get in the tunnel and meet ourselves with, okay, I'm here. What can I do to do different than if I were not in the tunnel?
Yeah. We have to move on with our program here. But one question first is like, how do you recognize when you are stuck in the tunnel?
My best advice is to look for gratitude, because one thing that doesn't work in a tunnel is gratitude. And because gratitude only makes the thing worse. So when you feel like gratitude doesn't work, you're in the tunnel.
Yeah. Gratitude. It's like the thing that people hate when you're not ready for it, but it always works when you actually are ready for it.
Yeah,
It's the thing that loosens everything up, and you can kind of find back to the real deal. Yeah.
The thing is, when you're in the tunnel, you're in such a high alert, so you need some sign or something. You need something to make you realize you're in the tunnel. Otherwise, you keep moving. And one thing I've noticed is that gratitude just doesn't work, because every time we're in the tunnel and you try to think about the thing you're grateful for, you will just magnify the thing you don't have.
Yeah.
And this is how I recognize when I'm in the tunnel. Like, gratitude, because gratitude is one of the most powerful things you can do. But when it doesn't work, that's the tunnel working.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. It's good having you on. And if you wait a little, maybe if you are just staying there, maybe I ask you something before we end. But we have to move on back to Fred. What do you think, Fred? What is your kind of tunnel vision when you get stuck in that?
For a long time, I thought the word tunnel vision was a good thing, because it meant focus. But it's a negative word, right? And
well, you have given them the meaning right now. But does it need to be negative?
Yeah. I like tunnel vision as a like a focus. Complete. Don't lose your sight of the goal.
Yeah.
But I remember I did my studies in California. Met a guy, and he taught me this strategy called the Kaizen strategy. That's a word in Japanese.
Isn't that what you're talking about also, Heidi?
Yes.
That's
what made my writer's block go away. It was Kaizen that started it all.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll probably ask you about some resources that I and we people can use to get more insights into the Kaizen philosophy. But I'll just finish the story with this guy, and he said that if you can measure something, you can master something. So if you can measure it, you can master it. And he had this sheet where he had these activities that he wanted to get better in. These goals. It was meditation, and it was exercise, and a few other things. And he just needed to give himself a small little point of something. If it was writing for 5 minutes, he would just write 5 on writing. And then if he didn't feel like doing anything, or if he didn't do the activity, he would just write nothing, or he would just write a 0 or something. And the philosophy was that if you do this, if you keep doing it, the most important thing is that you just measure it in the end of the day.
Yeah.
Then your brain will start naturally getting inspired to do the thing. And that changed my approach to work, seeing it that way. And I've told a couple of my friends about this, and they have actually told me, the wisest thing or the smartest thing you ever said was that Kaizen, that slow growth mentality that you taught me. And so I'm so glad that I'm here this morning and hearing it over again. It's the thing I probably need to hear. I'm glad that I get to hear it again. I have a Kaizen sheet on my wall, but I'm not using it today. And I should definitely, I was saying that I was waiting for my business to reflect my enlightened insight.
Yeah.
that has no flaws, by the way, and no weaknesses. But yeah, I just wanted to, because it's the business is my thing now that I need to take care of, and
That's your focus.
finding a way to take baby steps, to walk very slowly, and still be on my cushion and enjoy.
Yeah. But I wonder if this process works, because in the sense that something interesting that happened to me sometimes is that in this process of letting go of things and finding new ways of approaching life, it's like I can be in the tunnel and then try to apply all kinds of strategies, spiritual strategies, into the tunnel, still living inside of the tunnel, rationalizing how this thing is loosening up inside of the tunnel, but it's not really working. It's just like that I totally don't want to see that I'm in the tunnel, so I pretend I'm not. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So in a spiritual sense, that I definitely find myself, and especially if I'm, as long as I'm living, that there's you can feel stuck, right? That's the tunnel. Yeah, feeling stuck. Yeah, I like going. Who is stuck? Or there's probably some thought or some story about I don't like being stuck. Yeah. And then until I find that voice, I'll get more unstuck. But it's it's also small.
Like with gratitude. Yeah, I really like what Heidi said about gratitude and how it's kind of a way to check in if you're in a tunnel or not.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah. Because it makes sense that it always works outside of the tunnel, but not inside of the tunnel.
Yeah. It's like a gear. So maybe second gear.
Yeah.
You know, when it's first it's trouble water, and then something that is first gear will work, but second gear, gratitude, will not work in that troubled road.
Yeah.
But what is the first gear if the road is troubled?
The first one where the tunnel is going on.
Yeah. So Heidi, what's the first gear?
First, the gear is to stop. Whatever you're doing, just stop it. Don't like if you're not if you're driving, that's for sure. But everything else, you just stop what you're doing. Just take 10 seconds, look around, just feel into where are you, which state are you in. Just notice where you're going, and that's always the first move, is to stop. Because when you're in the tunnel, you just keep moving. You keep looking for the next quick fix. So the first is always to stop, whatever you're doing. When you do that, it doesn't have to stop, like meditate for half an hour. Just stop. If you're opening the refrigerator door because you're going to have yet another snack, just stop. You don't have to move away from the fridge. Just stop. Look at what you're doing. Take like a status inventory inside yourself, and just listen to what thoughts that come. Because what habits does to us is that we notice when they are done. When you stop while you're doing it, just to notice, you will figure out what started it, and that's how you change your behavior. Because you cannot change it while you're doing it, you have to change it before you start it, and that you have to know when it's starting. So the first step is always to stop, whatever.
It reminds me of something I used to say, which is like, whenever you are in a rush, like you feel the pressure, like, okay, I'm running out of time. There is something needing to happen right now. I need this success. I need this, come to this place, or it's kind of this deal that I can only get today. If I'm waiting for tomorrow, it's too late. Then you're not here. You know, you're deep inside of the tunnel, because you try to see the light in the end of that tunnel, and you need to rush towards it, and then you're not actually present. You're stuck.
Yeah.
In an idea that some kind of fix is going to get you something.
Yeah.
So we are at closing in. So how do you conclude this, guys? Heidi, do you have like a conclusion or some last words you want to drop in with us?
I think I want just to remind you, don't believe everything you think. That's what I want to bring to you, is that your mind is full of shit most of the time, because it makes stuff up all the time to make things more seem real.
But I'm so smart.
It's not my word. It's a thing I've read somewhere. I've just grabbed it. And hold on, every time I get stopped in something, like, don't believe everything you think. So that's I think that's what I wanna.
That's a good thing to remind yourself. It's so easy to get engaged with your own thinking and make it real, and the interesting thing when you make your thoughts real, so real that you invest in them as being true all the time, is that you use that evidence to look for more evidence to make it true, and you can go on this long rants about how fucked up something is. Like the example with Christian is like he overslept today, and it's always fun to use you as an example. And then he's presented with a choice of making that the rest of his day a failure, or like a stress project, because everything kind of started off on the wrong feet. So I'm presenting you with choices now, Christian. So you can go into rants in your own mind about making that a problem, and making it bad, making it something. Or you can just realize, I'm not saying, I don't know what's happening inside of your mind, I'm just using it as an example. Hope that's okay.
Christian is getting a rough beating. Maybe I should also take some of it, because I totally deserve a good, probably more of it.
Yeah, but it's okay. So that's
before the show.
The example I want to present is like what we do when we get invested in our thinking is that we kind of start believing in something, and then we make up news stories about how it's a bad thing or how it's important, and like then you get kind of stuck in it. And like an example, you can start your day off in a bad way, like, or you overslept, or you are getting late to something, you have to run to get in the studio on time, like Fred. And if you have made a decision then that, okay, that means life is not well right now, then all you look for the rest of the show or the rest of the day is how the world looks bad.
Yeah.
And then you will find it easily. But yeah, so what's your conclusion about this whole thing?
I would like to know where we Heidi, do you have a book that you would recommend about this, for instance?
About the lack, I have all kinds of books. About the scarcity, there's a book called Scarcity, that is amazing. I would highly recommend to read that, because it changed my life.
Is that about the Kaizen method? I mean, the baby steps, or is it about the?
No, that's about the tunnel. That's I think the baby steps. It's the Kaizen thing is. There's also just a book called Kaizen. I don't know. I don't remember the author, but it's just a small green book that's in Danish. But what I've learned is that the scarcity mindset is more a topic to go into than the Kaizen, because the Kaizen just makes more sense when you know why you need it.
Okay.
Okay, so we need to... we're going to watch a video with Ulf before we close.
Hi, fellas. So, I've been, as you all know, searching the internet far and wide to find, well, the weekly quotes. And I do believe that this time around I've found the perfect one. So let me just, this piece of paper. Ready, fellas? Wrap this. Okay, here we go. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make the change. It's Michael Jackson. Well, that's something to... Well, that's something to sort of aim for, right? Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ulf, for always finding a new inspiring quote for us. You hit it every time. We are at the end. I want to say thank you to you, Heidi, for joining us from Copenhagen.
Thank you for inviting me. That was a very interesting talk.
Yeah, it was lovely. Looking forward to next time. And thank you, Fred, for being here with your smiling face.
Thanks
it's always
for
a pleasure.
having me on. I really enjoyed this.
And okay, so we're at the end. I want to remind you guys about our Patreon page. Here you can join us, support us, and make sure that we take this to the next level. Until next time, have a good week.
Her var det mye tekniske problemer.
Jeg så en sånn der drypp av gjesten.
Jeg vet ikke hva som skjedde der.
Stoppa nå. Den vignetten. Eller altså den...
Faen. Han er...
I see them blue for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, say,
Vanligvis så... Se, faen, nå skjedde det.
I watch them grow, they'll learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, I think to myself,